What is GBBGNSSG? Well, we're about to find out. Welcome back to Techstination. I'm Fred Fishkin. Joining us is the creator of a new card game, Jessica. Hi, Jessica.
Hello, Fred. Thank you for having me. I'm so excited to be here with you.
Oh, it's a pleasure. Now, this is designed for screen-free family fun. It's a card game, as we said. So tell us about it. I think screens maybe had a role in how this came about.
Well, a little bit, yes. So the game is called Good Guy, Bad Guy, Not So Smart Guy. We call it GGBG NSSG, which is kind of like the acronym for the guys. And it came about because my kid was taking my phone and taking some pictures. He would go and take a picture like this, and then another one like this. And then a third one like this. And then he'd come over and start scrolling each of the pictures saying, good guy, bad guy, not so smart guy. And that's how it began. That's how the idea of the game came about.
So step us through the gameplay. This is designed for families and family fun.
This is definitely designed for families. We the box says 7+, but we've actually seen kids that are 5 years old pick it up. It depends on how gameful their families are. A 5-year-old might get a little bit upset by what happens in the game, so we said seven, but it's from seven and up. We've had 7-year-olds playing with their grandparents and having a lot of fun, and all of them are having fun. So, do you want me to run you through actually how to play the game?
Yes, please tell us about it.
Okay, so the game starts with you being handed 5 cards, and there's different cards on the deck. I'm going to show you a little bit. So there's good guys, there's bad guys, there's not so smart guys, and there's jerks. And the game starts with you shuffling the deck really, really, really well, and you get 5 cards. That's your hand, and the object of the game is to get 5 cards in a row on your table deck. The other cards are all numbers. So you get like from 1 to 10. You get a bunch of cards that are 1 to 10s, and they look a little bit like this. We call them bots. And you have to get 5 bots in a row. And once you have the five in your hand, we start. It goes clockwise. Doesn't matter who starts. We don't really care. And then it just goes clockwise from there. And then I'm going to show you what each guy does, and then I'll tell you what you can do to get your 5 in a row. So the good guy cards are like these guys are wild cards. And so they act like a wild card. So if you're doing a sequence, let's say you put down a 1 and a 5, the the wild card, the good guy, might act as a 2, a 3, or a 4 in your sequence. And they basically, you name them, you can replace them. So once you call that name, that's what they are, unless they get snacked by a bad guy. And the bad guys snack cards from somebody else's table deck. So whoever has a sequence on their table, you can snag any number that you think would be helpful to your table deck, or just to prevent them from getting their 5 in a row. And so the bad guy allows you to take a card and you can use it on your table deck or bring it to your hand. And then you have the not so smart guy. And the not so smart guy allows you to take a card from somebody's hand. The only thing is, because he's not so smart, you can't really see their cards before you pick. You have to do it without looking and just trust your instincts. And finally, the jerk. And the jerk is a card that wipes out somebody's entire table deck. So they got to start over from scratch. Now, on the game, you can only do one action per turn, and there's only like 5 things that you can do at any point in the game. So the first one is you can put a number card, a bot, or a good guy on your table deck. The second thing you can do is give somebody a bad guy, a not so smart guy, or a jerk, and tell them the card is for them, and then follow the action of that guy. The third thing you can do is, you can only have 5 cards in your hand at any time. So if you have some cards that you might not use, you can discard them. That's the third thing you can do. The fourth thing you can do is you can pick up a card from the draw pile if you have less than 5 in your hand. And the last thing you can do is pick up the top card on the discard pile, but only if it's a number card. And that's it. That's how the game's played. It's really simple. You learn it in about 2 to 3 minutes. And once the action starts, you're off onto the races until the very end. You can win the game until the very last action, and nobody wins until the fat lady sings. And in
Really
my heart,
interesting.
that would be me.
So, how long did it take you to create the game, and what was the process? Were you writing down on pad and paper, or have you done this kind of thing before? Have you tried to make games?
So I had done one game before, but it was more an educational game that I had designed. And my husband, it's a digital game. And my husband had said, "Hey, listen, you should, since that one came out so easily, why don't you do another one? But can you please make it a card game? Because then we can travel with it and take it anywhere we go." And I'm like, "Sure. It's really not so easy to come up with a game, but I'll try." And so when that came up, this is when my kid was doing the good guy, bad guy, not so smart guy. So I had that in my head. And it took about 2 months to really create the game. And I created the guys first. And I created what the guys were going to do, the good guy, the bad guy, and not so smart guy. And then I had to give them something to do, right? So I gave them something to do. And then I created the number bots. And then slowly and surely during the week, I would think about what the actions of the games would be. And then over the weekend, my family was my beta testers, and we would play around with whatever rules I thought about that week and figure out what would work and what didn't work. And when we were kind of close to finding out what exactly was working, I'm like, I need a guy that actually wipes you out and makes you have to start over again. And that's how the jerk was born. And so I didn't write anything down, to be honest with you. It was all, I would process it in my head during the week. I would be like playing the game in my head. And then on the weekend, I would submit my family to playing with me to figure out if what was working in my head would actually work in real life. And then I had to figure out that there was a little bit of math involved to figure out how many cards of each guy and how many bots to put in so that it would play well and not be too easy or too hard, depending on the number of players. So there was a little bit of math involved there. And once that was figured out, then I got to, print my cards, and I would print them in blank cards. And we hired a designer to try and create the guys, and that didn't work out. And then we tried different things to make the guys happen because I had an idea in my head of what they should be like. And then out of frustration, I just decided to sit on my computer and design them myself. And so that's the guys that you get now. And they're nice and charming little creatures.
Tell us a little bit about your background, if you don't mind. What enabled you to do this?
Um, uh, I think it was a passion and preparation meeting opportunity, I guess. I'm not in a toy business. My background is in media. I worked in television, children's television for many years. I worked in animation for many years, and then I did a bunch of consulting and branding and marketing. But I have a love for gaming. When I was a child, my family would sit down every Sunday after we visited the grandparents, and we'd play games. And so learning how to play a game, learning how to be social in that way, learning how to be competitive but a sportsman, learning how to lose properly was something that I wanted to pass on to my kids. And so gaming has been a big part in my family. And when I decided to design this game, I thought, I want something that families can play together, that will bring families together, that has a lot of interaction, that's really unadulterated fun, but that I want there to be skill involved, like some strategy, but a little bit of luck, a little bit of strategy. And so I pulled from all the different games that I loved, the things that I loved the most, and I try to incorporate them into GGBG. And then I also studied a little bit of game theory, which I had studied a little bit as part of my MBA, but I did a little bit of a deeper dive into it to figure out what makes a good game. And so that's how it came about.
Fascinating. So you've got quite a background to develop this, and I assume you're a bit of a puzzle person too.
Love puzzles. Yes, definitely.
So you've got it on the market now. Tell us about how people can get it.
Okay, so here comes the shameless self-promotion. Thank you, Fred, for giving me this opportunity. You can get our game on our website at ggbgnssg.com, but most people are getting it on Amazon. So go to Amazon, type GGBG NSSG or Good Guy, Bad Guy, Not So Smart Guy, and you can have it in your hand in a couple of days if you have Prime.
Just terrific. Again, it's ggBGNSSG.com.
You
Jessica,
got
thank
it.
you so much for spending time with us.
Fred, thank you so much for this opportunity, and I hope your audiences love it. If you play the game, let us know. We would love hearing your feedback.